All UK honey tested in EU fraud investigation fails authenticity test.
Here's a summary of the article.
This is not the first time tests have suggested that UK shoppers may be being cheated on their honey, though supermarkets say they regularly test honey and audit supply lines. The report last Thursday by the JCR said honey imported from the UK had a suspicion rate of 100% and this could be the result of honey produced in other countries and further processed in the UK before its re-export to the EU. In 2022, the UK imported more than 38,000 tons of honey from its biggest supplier, China, where there is a known risk of adulteration with sugar syrup. Lynn Ingram, master beekeeper at Wesley Cottage Bees, near Bridgewater in Somerset, who is among a group of beekeepers calling for better information for shoppers, said, "If you see honey that is cheap as 75p a jar, it is too good to be true. It's unrealistic for people to be able to produce genuine honey at those prices." This shocking report is only a snapshot, but it indicated almost half the honeys were adulterated and it's a growing problem. A series of tests on supermarket honey in the UK indicated that samples may be adulterated with sugar, including ones at a leading German laboratory in 2020 that found 8 of the 9 samples were non-compliant. Arturo Carrillo, the Mexico-based coordinator of the International Honey Authenticity Network, which has conducted tests on UK supermarket honey indicating adulteration, said, "The UK is flooded with very cheap adulterated honey imported from China." A spokesperson for the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said, "The UK government takes any type of food fraud very seriously, including honey adulteration. There is no place for adulterated honey which undermines consumer confidence and disadvantages responsible businesses. We work closely with enforcement authorities to ensure honey sold in the UK is not subject to adulteration, meets our high standards, and maintains a level playing field between honey producers." Davina Sankla, food policy advisor at the British Retail Consortium, said, "Our members work with suppliers to ensure the authenticity of their honey, conducting regular checks to ensure all honey they sell is as described."
This post received a score of 14,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than the government disputes claims that honey imports are adulterated on an industrial scale. It has previously said there is insufficient evidence to date to indicate fraud and the enforcement is fit for purpose. Sure, it was just a coincidence that all the UK honey tested by EU authorities turned out to contain something other than honey and that honey is sold in UK supermarkets at prices that UK beekeepers claim would be impossible to achieve with actual honey. No need to investigate further.
I thought it was weird that they said that when that is not true. There are kinds of sugars bees make and kinds of sugars bees do not make. If you find sugars in honey that bees didn't put there, then you know that honey is adulterated.
You can prove it's definitely not honey. But you can't prove it definitely is honey. We can manufacture everything in actual honey. It's just way less efficient than letting a bee do it. The missile knows where it is because the missile knows where it isn't.
By subtracting where it is from where it isn't, or where it isn't from where it is, it obtains a difference, or deviation. The guidance subsystem uses deviations to generate corrective commands to drive the missile from a position where it is to a position where it isn't, and arriving at a position where it wasn't, it now is. The position where it is now the position that it wasn't, and it follows that the position that it was, is now the position that it isn't. In the event that the position that it is in is not the position that it wasn't, the system has acquired a variation, the variation being the difference between where the missile is, and where it wasn't.
Although, once the missiles are guided by quantum computers, they can simply move the target to where the missile is going.
No fair. You changed where the missile wasn't by too accurately measuring how fast it wasn't moving. Never heard someone alter this quote that much. I've always heard people not altering the quote exactly that much.
I've never not heard people not altering the quote exactly that much.
As a consumer, I'm getting tired of being lied to about what's actually in the products I buy. I'd like to make informed decisions, but that's impossible if you don't know what's in the products you're purchasing.
Just look on the back, mate. If it says, a blend of non-EU honey, it's most like shite. The problem is in the supermarkets. In my local Tesco, every single jar range says this blurb. Marks and Spencer's have the best range of local, UK honey currently. You can trace the farmer's select range back to a single farm field where that specific farm has to meet with Marks and Sparks regulations. They've been a blessing, really.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.